All right, so let's talk about the roles of protein. And the list is extensive here. And I'm just going to start here with one thing that I notice with a lot of clients, and I would say it's more likely the case when I'm working with people that are trying to heal or recover from an injury or just try to get into better health or experience more vitality. My experience is that most people are not getting enough good quality protein. And I would even say that a lot of people are relating to certain foods as good protein sources. And some of the biggest ones that I would say people relate to as good protein sources are nuts, seeds, and beans. We're going to talk about this obviously in the book. I get into this quite a bit. And obviously, this is just a summary of that. But I just wanted to say that I would invite you not to relate to any of those types of foods as protein because of a lot of what you read in the book and what we're going to cover here. So there's so much that proteins do. They are essential to exuding vitality. And I'm going to go through a few of the roles. And every one of these things I list, you could list 100 more things that directly impact other things. I mean, so protein is so important, and getting enough of the right kinds of protein could be the difference between you being healthy, number one, and then there's no way you're going to get into a state of vitality without quality protein, right? So let's go through some of the roles just so you can understand how important it is. Number one, growth and maintenance. So I talk about this in this chapter quite a bit, but there is no repairing anything without protein. It's essential for repair. It's the building blocks for literally every tissue in your cell in your body. Okay, so if you're trying to repair yourself, you have to make sure you're getting the proper amount of protein. If you work out and you're not getting enough protein to rebuild and repair the muscle, you're going to have a recovery problem. I mean, the list goes on and on. So growth and maintenance, essential for repair. Proteins also directly influence many biochemical reactions, and they do that because enzymes are proteins that are responsible for thousands of things like digestion, energy production, blood clotting, muscle contraction. I mean, again, this list could be hundreds of things, okay? So instead of writing 1,000 things, I just wrote thousands of things, but some of the key things. So digestive issues is a major thing right now. So many people have digestive problems. Energy production, so many people are suffering from low energy, blood clotting, muscle contraction. There's just an endless number of things that our body depends on protein for. Okay, so enzymes play such a big role in so many different things, and proteins basically make up enzymes. All right, so important for so many of the chemical reactions. It also acts as a messenger. Proteins and peptide hormones specifically, like insulin, HGH, ADH, ACTH, they are all directly influencing and responsible for things like water and salt. ADH is a hormone that helps regulate water and salt and supports the kidneys. ACTH plays a role in cortisol, the role of cortisol, and what cortisol does. Cortisol is a stress hormone that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I think sometimes we say cortisol is a stress hormone. It's bad. It's far from bad. This is why we go into this in later chapters. That stress isn't a bad thing. And cortisol plays an essential role in so many critical functions in the body. HGH is growth hormone, insulin, blood sugar regulation. I mean, if you don't have protein, all of these things are impacted. It provides structure, like I said, cells and tissues, like literal structure of the body. The cells and the tissues, they don't exist without protein. They certainly can't regenerate and repair without protein. It bolsters immune health because of their role in immunoglobulins and antibodies. So if you feel like you're not resilient when it comes to sicknesses and stuff, well, getting adequate protein is really important to making sure your immune system has the raw materials to do all the roles that it does. It also transports and stores nutrients, okay? Transports vitamins and minerals, glucose and oxygen. So I just want to read this. Vitamins and minerals, glucose and oxygen. These are all literal. You can't live without these things. There are certain minerals and vitamins you can't live without. Glucose, forget it. If you don't get glucose to the cell efficiently, you're not living. And oxygen. So protein plays a role in all of these things. It is so important to make sure you're getting enough of the best types of protein. Okay, so what are the best types of protein? Best sources of protein. So here's how I'm defining best sources of protein. Again, just to echo what I said in the book, it provides the body with the full array of amino acids, which are basically the building blocks of protein, without harmful and or unhelpful metabolic substances. So without baggage attached. So yes, you could have some amino acids in certain foods, but then it comes with all this baggage. And when I say baggage, it's harmful and or unhelpful metabolic substance, which is what you read about in this chapter when it comes to beans, seeds, legumes, etc., which is why I would not relate to them as protein sources. Having a couple nuts here and there, fine, but don't look at it, oh, I had a handful of nuts, I had my protein today. I wouldn't recommend it, okay? And so where can we get the best source of protein? Animal products supply the best source of protein. I mean, humans have been eating animal products since the beginning of humans. And even some of the tribes that are eating berries and things like that, they are eating insects. You'd be very hard pressed to find any society that's vegetarian or vegan. And again, I know this is a very controversial thing, and that's why the alarms went off when I started to say we're going to talk about protein. But again, what I'm sharing with you, and you can do what you want with it, is what I have found for myself and thousands of people, the best source of protein are from animal products. Now, that being said, we've got to be very mindful of things when it comes to animal products, unfortunately, because of the way animals are treated and all the things I mentioned in the book about factory farming, etc. The quality of the animal product is critical. You got to know where it's coming from. Okay. People are raising their own chickens. My brother has a farm out in Montana, and he raises his own, the animal products he consumes, he raises them, and, they're treated properly, and they're fed things that they are, that they're designed to eat, right? So the quality of the animal product is critical. Most of the animal products out there that we can get readily at any restaurant and or supermarket, we're not talking about high quality stuff here. Most of the animal products that we consume in America come from factory farming, period, end of story, which is why I don't disagree with people that you shouldn't eat that, okay? But that doesn't mean that animal products, when raised properly, when it's done right, isn't the best source of protein. On that note, you should always inquire about where the animal product came from. I gave you guys some resources in the book, eatwild.com, westonaidprice.com. There are great resources out there where you can find properly farmed, raised animals that are held as sacred. There's gratitude for the animal in the process in which, everything in nature is recycled, right? Animals eat other animals. Is the way that nature was designed, right? So always inquire about your animal products came from. Eating the whole animal is always best. That's the other thing. I mentioned an episode of the Chef's Table in the book, and I really recommend everybody watch it. It's really heartwarming, and it's so really neat about this young boy who was raised as the son of a butcher and wanted to become a veterinarian and he wanted to be a vegetarian and so on and so forth. Long story short, it's this little Italian family. He had to now take over his father's business because his father got sick, and just the process that this gentleman takes and how sacred he holds the animals and how he doesn't waste one part of the animal. He eats the whole animal, and you go to his restaurant or his store in Italy, and you just sit down and he just feeds you basically all kinds of deliciousness, but it's not just filet mignon, right? So eating the whole animal is always best. I would say that the things that we consume in our house on a fairly regular basis is liver, kidney, and heart. Those are relatively easy to get, ground up. You can even get ground beef that has liver, kidney, and heart in it. But again, getting the whole animal, you're getting so many of the minerals and nutrients and different amino acid profiles that are all different depending on the muscle meat. All right, so eating the whole animal is always best. And then this is the other big part of what I share in this chapter is understanding the difference between muscle meats and the homemade broths. So it's important to understand that 50% of the protein that comes from an animal comes from its connective tissue, bones especially, cartilage, etc. That protein that comes from bones, etc., that protein, those amino acids are I refer to as liquid gold, because that protein is designed for repair and recovery. There's a reason why traditionally when you're sick, mom or grandma makes you chicken soup from the carcass of the animal. That soup, gelatin, right? If you really make good homemade chicken soup, when you put it in the fridge and when you take it out, you'll notice that the whole thing is gelatinous. It's like a big thing of Jello. Okay, that means there's a ton of protein in there. So gelatin is protein, and it's the kind of protein that is designed for repair and recovery. There's a reason why traditionally when people are sick, they get chicken soup. Okay, it's because of the broth has all these healing amino acids in it.